What's good, everyone? I hope you're having a great start to your day. If it is morning for you or if it's in the afternoon, I hope you're having a great day just in general. Let me know again if the music ends up being a little bit too loud. Just let me know. I will work to fix that and change that. Everything on my end looks to be going pretty smooth, so just let me know. So today, kind of get into what we're going to be looking for today. Yesterday, we had a nice move. Not going to lie, I wish I kind of would have traded a little bit yesterday because I would not be trading today just off of what happened yesterday. So, we'll look to see if there's anything that we can see. I'm not upset that I didn't trade yesterday. It is what it is. You know, it's one day out of, I don't know how many trading days we have in a year. So, not worried about that. So, on the weekly chart, you see we're kind of down here. We're at the lower end of this buy side imbalance, which we have spent a lot of time in. At the low end of that, we have this daily volume imbalance, and then this is what it looks like on the hourly chart. So again, we were up here, and I said that I was looking for lower prices, even though they were kind of in the spot of indecision. I guess we're in kind of like a rock and a hard place is kind of what I was trying to explain. But we did end up trading lower, and we see the results of that now. So what I am kind of looking at is, you know, do we have any strength to come clean this up? Or are we going to just fold lower and trade down to pretty much this volume imbalance, but more likely this daily inverse fair value gap down here? Do we have enough strength to get down, or weakness, I guess, to trade lower down and also come across this wick, which I would say around the constant encroachment of that wick is somewhere around here. So we have about 100 plus handles, I think, before we even get down there. Yeah, almost 200 handles. So if we're able to do that, but I am watching this 1 hour. Let me zoom in. I'm watching this 1 hour fair value gap, which we just traded down into. If you go to a smaller time frame, there was equal lows down there. So we'll see what we end up getting here at market open. But based off of where it is right now, we're gonna have a time stop or a time restriction of waiting till at least 10 a.m. to get into a trade. As you see here, look at these highs. To me, that looks so clean, so we may want to pop up above there. If we do pop up above there, are we able to maintain that, or do we show weakness? So that's what I'll also be looking for. We do have a little bit of SMT here with obviously Dow, but I ain't really worried about that. I'm just looking to see what these two are doing, and does this follow suit? So as of right now, you know, this looks kind of heavy. It looks like it's gonna inverse this gap. I do notice that we also have this gap down here. Same thing with this one. But we may get a little pop up here, and I'll be looking for that to see if that's available for us. And why I say that is this is the high. I know there's a lot of stuff on here. Just pay attention to this upper pink line. That is the opening, that's the closing price of yesterday. So if you take the closing price of yesterday to where price is right now, it's like 43 handles. Probably less likely to take a trade before 10 o'clock just based off where it is, right? So we'll see. Remember, we have a lot of time before 9:30, so if it's anywhere close up here, we can just count out a trade before 10 o'clock happening anywhere close up here. So just wanted to note that, just so I'm aware. So here's a chart. This is what I have noted. So in the light, this is a hourly fair value gap. I will go to the hourly chart so we can see what I'm talking about. So if you look here, this is that fair value gap I was talking about on the hourly time frame. I want to see how we respond there, and do we have the ability to take these equal highs, which I believe we might have. But also doing that puts us on the sidelines for at least 10 o'clock. And we had that 15-minute order block there, which was, I think, important here, which overlapped with the hourly fair value gap. So again, this is the type of confluences I look for in my trades. I like for things to overlap on the higher time frame down. So when I look at the 15-minute chart, it overlaps with the hourly chart. Like there's things that I can frame areas where I can expect price to bounce from, which would be this 15-minute order block that's inside of an hourly fair value gap. So that's just something that I like to see in my trades. So As we go down to the 5-minute chart, as you can see here, there's a breaker there as well. Notice how it hits that. This one is not respected. This one is, because I believe of the overlapping of PD arrays. So this is an area where you can expect price to bounce from. And that's what we see here, at least initial reaction there. We had equal lows right below it, it hit it, and then, you know, has expanded away. So today we're gonna be very, very careful because of, again, how small the range is. If it ends up being a day I don't really like in terms of the price action I'm looking at, I will lower my leverage, and that's fine. Also, I want to note that this 15-minute order block right here overlaps with a new day opening gap from January 16th, the high of it. So that's very important there. I like to see a lot of overlapping, and that also works out well for us there. So yeah, we also have the new day opening gap from today, which is pretty much has formed above here as well. So just things that we're watching. Based on what happens here, we'll kind of see where what will be available for us, you know, based on how large the gap is. That lets us know a little bit more about what we can do. I would like to see if we can reach up here. We have this down close candle here. I think we just kind of missed the opening price just by a little bit. But I'd like to see us, you know, see if we can reach up there, start to expand above there. Now, my interest is what happens when we get above here, or if we can even reach there. You know, what signature do we get? We get up here and we reject immediately. Are we consolidating? What are we doing up above here? Because this to me looks like so clean. Looks like an area where you know, people would put their stops. We also have been selling for the last couple of days, so that's also something that I'm aware of, and in my awareness as well. So we'll see kind of how, there's my mouse, kind of see what we're getting at around 9:30, because right now I just try to get a understanding or an idea of if I can get a read on price with a direction, with a bias. That also helps me give a directional play or move that I'm looking for the day. I also, just based off of right now, I'm a fan of, you know, kind of how this at least looks at the moment. The bodies aren't closing too deep and too low as of right now, so I am liking that. In this gap, again, it's before pre-market, so I'm not as high on this gap necessarily holding, but that's what I would like to see. And it did end up also trading down into the 5-minute order block opening, which we had talked about down here. So we would like to see if this can hold price. I'm not going to leave this on, but it did trade down into that. So that's what I would expect from bouncing from this level. I would expect this to then hold price. Or if it's going to go deeper, it would need to come down here and then move away with some speed. But my initial response would be to expect price to hold this, if we can even reach up to here and take this out. Again, remember, we have SMT here and also SMT here. So, and Dow's doing whatever, you know, that's its plan, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, since we have some time, we can go look at yesterday and kind of just talk about that, which I thought was interesting. Because at this point, you know, I'm looking back like, yeah, probably should have taken that trade, but only because of I didn't expect it actually to be a day like this. But you know what? It happens. So remember we talked about the first presented fair value gap, how I like waiting for that. It formed at 9:31. Again, it kind of gives me an understanding of what type of day can we be expecting, which would be low resistance in my mind. If I see anything, any first presented fair value gap that forms before 9:40, but preferably earlier, it lets me know we have a low resistance day, which is pretty much what we got here, just one-sided, and then it kind of went up and then ended up going down again. But the trade setup was here. Remember how on the 5-minute chart I had talked about this here, and then I wanted to see this gap form, a 5-minute fair value gap, which we got, and then inside of this 5-minute fair value gap, hold up, let's get rid of all this for a second, because that's going to annoy me. Okay, so inside of this 5-minute fair value gap, we want to look for something that could give us an indication where we can look for an entry, right? And so, how did that not get in there? Did I just miss them? Yeah. So, when we look inside the 5-minute fair value gap, well, what do we see? Well, the only thing that I see in terms of something that I understand and something that makes sense to me is this order block right here. So, this is where I said this would make sense for a trade to form, for us to look for price to move from. And I said that I would not want to see a trade above here. This I didn't even play as a factor. This was nothing that I was even looking at, just this, because of what we had across here in the 5-minute chart, which was a breaker again, and this was an order block there. So notice how we hit it, and I think I had mostly the low. I'm sorry, let me put it on where I actually had it. I had it on the low. I said if we trade up into this low, it would be a selling opportunity. Stop loss would not have been up here. I probably would have put it above here. Ideally, it could go right there. Just because this is the order block, I wouldn't expect to get traded through, which it didn't. The bodies were telling the story. Again, look at the 5-minute fair value gap. Look where the bodies are closing on the 1-minute chart. Again, that's more confluence. And then we were just looking for the new week opening gap to get filled. And no, I was not expecting all of this, because if I was expecting all of this, I would have traded yesterday. So, yeah. So it happens sometimes. It is what it is. I'm not mad. I just want to kind of go over that, what my thought process now is after, but also just kind of recapping of what I was looking for yesterday. So I'll kind of close that. We're good there. And so, yeah, just kind of waiting. Again, look at this. Nothing I want to be in. I'm not excited to be in buying down here. I'm not interested. I'm not. None of that. I want to be very clear, very obvious. When we look at ES, let's kind of zoom in a little bit here. We've closed below this. Not saying that we can't go above it. I'm not watching like the mean threshold of this, again, to see if we're getting any response. Because if this runs up and this is just going lower, then this is a stop. This will be a stop run to then end up taking this out. Or we could have a complete consolidation day. I don't know. You know, I'm hoping we don't have a complete consolidation day, but we could. I don't know. The biggest high impact news is on Thursday of this week. So, you know, got to be understanding of that. It's unemployment claims. It's at 8:30 anyways, so that doesn't necessarily really affect us. And Friday, I have no interest in trading. It's the last trading day of the year. So, I mean, not of the year, of the month. So, zero interest. But we do have, I mean, CB consumer confidence, but like, that shouldn't really do anything, in my opinion. But I remember there was one day where I said like it shouldn't do anything, and it just went on like a 1-minute candle. It just dumped. So, but I think that was also the day Trump was speaking. I don't know. I'm not sure. I just remember there was one time where that was the case. So yes, we have this daily volume imbalance. We'll see if we do trade up higher, if we can trade up into this, which would be a breaker. If you look on like a 15-minute chart, let's just go here. Oops, that's not what I meant. I'll go to here. We have a breaker here, high, low, high, high. This would equal that. So just looking. Now, if we start getting a little bit lower and moving away from this opening price, then we don't have a time stop. And I can trade before, but I'll still be looking for specific things to occur pretty much. Again, the first presented fair value gap, I'm always looking for that to form first. So right now, as of where price is right now, we do not have a time stop, but we have to wait and see what happens at 9:30. So just looking here again, we're seeing that get ran through. We saw this get closed through, so I was a little bit concerned of that. But again, we're not in trade, just trying to figure out our bias. What is being respected right now and what is being disrespected? That's what we're looking for. But again, it could come all the way down here and close all the way back up here. And then all of this means literally nothing. In my opinion, it would mean nothing. So here's the fair value gap here on the 15-minute chart there. Let's note that on our chart over here as well. I kind of like this lighter color because we can see it, but it's not like all in the face when you're trying to overlay things. So I may change all of my things to that. At least when I'm trading live, kind of change it to this, so it's not too much stuff on the chart. But this is supposed to be an hourly fair value gap. There we go. And 15-minute order block right now so far is getting ran through. I actually prefer if I don't have to wait until 10, because if I can get into a trade that makes sense before 10 o'clock and then it hits at 10 o'clock, even better. Even better. Even better. So as of right now, with 4 minutes left, there is no time stop, so I can remove this. And then we're gonna put on, I forgot to put it on, our, I wanna save this actually. This is like live. Okay. I'll just know what that means. So will you guys, I guess. So key signature here. Just make sure it's only visible on this interval. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. So S&P has traded down into its respective gap here. Okay, so it looks like we'll get that here too as well. Now, what is the response we get there? Are we just running through that? Do we show any respect? Do we show anything? That's what I'm looking for. I would feel really hesitant to actually sell anything with seeing this. I'd have to see a lot more occur for me to be willing to sell it. Also, would have to close below here because that would be an order block and convincingly. Now, us trading down to here, this to me looks, you know, pretty bullish. From how, look at the bodies where they close, look at the response. So, but then again, if it closes all up, back up in here, we then have the same problem with, not a problem, but where we cannot take a trade before 10. So, and where it's at right now, 50 is fine. When we start getting into the 40s, or we start coming back up here, pretty much, we now have the time stop again. So, just have to understand and play by the rules. we've created for ourselves to help us in our trades. So yeah. So that to me isn't looking very, you know, bearish. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna have a 10 o'clock stop, just in my opinion, or 10 o'clock waiting period. Even though I like that response, but off that level, because that's looking pretty bullish to me. Look at the wick, look at the bodies of the candles, look over the 5 minute. It's gonna close. It ran through this, how I said, you know, even if it ran through it and based off where it closed, it don't really matter. So let's look. I just want to make sure what we have here. So there to there, 49.75. So we'll play it. So I'm okay with taking a trade before that, because I've had a trade actually with 49.75. I've done that before. So I'm okay with, you know, not having the time stop until 10, but I will be looking to kind of see what we get here. I don't like how, you know, kind of went straight back down, but that's fine. Again, I'm in no rush to take a trade at all. No rush. We have a mixed open, as you see here. Look at Dow's trading higher. These both traded lower. I believe we can start to get some type of movement away from here, trading higher. That's my thought process. But we need to see that movement higher before anything can happen, right? Again, I'm not trying to, I don't need to be the first one in the market. I just need to find a setup that makes sense to me. That's all that really matters. So this might be, what is this? Nope, so it's not the first presented. Remember, the first presented for value gap can only happen at pretty much 931. So this is melting. S&P is starting to kind of do a similar thing here. But Dow was trading higher. So have to be aware. I also want to look on the higher time frame real quick. I don't know why I did not see this fair value gap there. I'm not gonna lie, I only saw this one. So this one's down there. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even see that one on the higher time frame, but I see it now. Let's go back to the hourly on this one actually. Yeah, I did not see that actually. So we're going to actually put this on the hourly one. I want to see where the bodies are closing there. We'll just make this the hourly one. Not see that at all. Okay. Now my trading view is acting slow. There we go. Okay. And so now we have this hourly one there, which I would love to see. So this is the first presented at 9:31 again. So we have the same time around 9:31. I would expect it to get ran through because of what I'm actually seeing. So I would like to see it get ran through on Dow. I mean, not Dow. I don't know why I said that. But on NQ, and there's a lot of room up there that we can reach for. But need to see that happen first. So if we can create a gap over here, I believe that we could, you know, start to have a little bit more. Yeah, that's a lot of room up there. We can do that. So that's what I'm waiting for. That's what I want to see. Especially after we had the day that we had yesterday. This can go. This can go too. This is what matters the most. Also, we hit this breaker here on a 5 minute chart. So if we have this breaker here. So we hit the first presented fair value gap, but also have this breaker on a 5-minute chart. Let's note that. So I believe this should get ran through. Have to be patient though. Patience, patience, patience. Again, I believe what's up here is so like, this doesn't need to be on this time frame. It's so obvious. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. It's so obvious, and like that's where they're gonna target. So just need to find myself a position to get in. Don't need to rush. Don't need to try to predict it. Just let it show. Just let it show it to us. If it doesn't give it to us, it doesn't give it to us. I'm not upset. I will not be upset if it doesn't give it to us. Okay. Trust me on that one. Yes, or the other day I was actually unaware I took a trade that was inside of the macro time, so I just want to make sure I have that actually. Because it would have added a little bit more confidence. Macro. So let's put it in there. Where's the 1010? 1010 to, this is 950 to 1010. So I'm looking at that, you know, we are getting a little bit of softness on ES, but I like to see again, if we can create a fair value gap over top of this, I will take that. That's what I would need to see. Create a fair value gap over top of that, and then trade back down into it. As long as we don't just run away, you know, just run away aggressively and don't come back, which is possible. It's very possible. That would be my trade setup, but looks like we may have one of those days where it does that. But again, it needs to create a fair value gap here. It can't just do nothing. So I still have like 3 minutes or a minute and some change before I can get into the trade. So that's the criteria for this. So again, this would have to create a fair value gap, and then I would be willing to get into the trade and take the trade. So look, no fair value gap, no trade. So it is looking quite choppy this morning, I will say that. Quite choppy. It does look a little bit heavier than I would expect. But again, oops, this needs to be outlines. Sorry, 931. So Tuesday, February 25th, I believe, 931. Again, there's certain criteria, certain things we're looking for in price. Yeah, I'm not in a rush to get in. There was nothing there clear unless we made a fair value gap. Look, I was about to point at the screen like you guys could see where I was pointing. There was no fair value gap formed over here, so there was nothing for me to engage in, you know. Ends up being a short today. That's what it ends up being. I'm okay with being wrong. I'm okay with readjusting. I'm okay with all of that stuff. But I need to see a framework. I mean, obviously this is sell side down here. It's not. Where is it? There. It's sell side down there. that would not be close enough for me to take a trade, or far enough away for me to take a trade. I guess it kind of was, but there's no gap there. What I really want to see us is create a fair value gap above here, or a fair value gap, and I'd be willing to take the trade to get it up to here. You know, that's what I'd be looking for. Again, it needs to create that type of formation, and then I'm good. But the absence of that formation is the absence of a trade for me. This is a stop run. I like this. I like this reaction right here. Look at the bodies. I want to see a little bit more follow through on this candle. But look at the bodies. I like that. I like that. So to me, this would be considered a turtle soup. 5-minute candle here. 5-minute candle open here. So, do we create a gap or just completely close everything again? That's what I'm watching. Because we keep overlapping every price run. I'm not necessarily a fan of that at all. Do we use this candle as support, or we just keep running below it and keep running out lows and keep running out lows? That's what I'm watching. Also, where are we closing on a higher time frame basis? Right now, we keep respecting this breaker, so we'll see. We have a 15-minute close in about 3 minutes or so. So just wait for that. I'm not in a rush. S&P isn't showing the weakness, we'll say, that NQ is right now. So see, the absence of a fair value gap for me is the absence of a trade. Again, also this could go way lower. I don't know. I'm just weighing what I see and playing the odds. That's all it is. Because S&P right now is not looking as weak. So, and I see those clear highs up there. For me, I'm personally like waiting for it to start getting in alignment with where it makes sense to me. But until it does that, I'm not willing to do anything. I don't want to anticipate a fair value gap. I want one to show. So to me, it looks like they're doing a lot of damage down here. A lot of damage. Look at the wicks. Look at the bodies. Look at the wicks. Doing a lot of damage down here. That's what I visually see. And so I'm just waiting for a fair value gap to be formed above there. If that can happen, I don't know. It may want to come down here. That's fine. It may come down here first and then go up there. I don't know. But then there would be SMT as long as ES can hold. So it may end up being a day where we actually do have to wait until 10 o'clock, but that's fine. Dow was still higher. So I guess I want to show you guys kind of what I'm looking at here, right? So I'm looking at ES, not showing the same weakness. I'm looking at Dow, trade all the way back above here. So I'm watching to see what are we getting. And this looks like crazy large on this, but like when you look at this, like it just went down below this one more time. That's all it did. So that's why I think having the other ones up also helps with being able to kind of read price a little bit better and not get faked out. This may end up going lower, that's fine, but I'm okay with waiting longer than to just get into a trade. I want to see them all doing the same thing. So we've got a minute left in this 15-minute candle. honestly, I don't like how it's what it looks like right now for higher prices. For me, this gap right here, so I see one right here. I don't trust that one. I don't trust that. So, and also, even if it were to occur, again, it's got a handy dandy measure. It's not enough for me. It's not enough. So, ES is now looking like it's starting to trade down a little bit softer now. So that may be a potential setup right there. I'm not willing to take that one yet. Would have loved to see it. If it was gonna do this, I would rather see it come up here first and then trade lower, not take out no buy side, no sell side, nothing, and then kind of just trade lower. That's just those are not trades that I'm looking for. Because right now it's all internal range liquidity, nothing external has been taken. So I'm not looking for that. So there's that fair value gap I was talking about there. That could potentially be a sell setup, just not for me. Not for me today. Would not be comfortable with that. I'm even saying, like, just even with that fair value gap there, I honestly would have no idea where I'd put my stop loss. That's also another problem for me, is I have no idea where I'd even put my stop loss. So I can't just take a trade just because the fair value gap's there if I have no idea where I even put my stop. That's not a good trade setup for me. I can't just guess. Like, stop seems like it's good here, and then put it there. You know, maybe at the consequent encroachment of this wick, maybe. But I mean, this just looks like too much block of price action. It's not clear. We do have this 5-minute order block there, which it failed to hit the open. Which the open would be right there. But yeah, I'm not in a rush to take a trade. I don't need to take a trade. So yeah, this, I feel like it's more likely to get hit, obviously from where we are, but failure to do so would be very interesting. We'll have to say that. Because we'll see what we get kind of after that. Does ES have the same willingness and likeliness to trade lower? That's what I'll be watching. Because that looks pretty highly likely, high chance of happening. So this hourly gap, I mean the 15-minute gap, we traded right through the 15-minute gap. So now we hit that low. Now I would like to see if we can respond higher and then start to take out this. That's what I would like to see. Or do we just run deeper? Because we now have SMT here. This would kind of overlap with the macro if we can create a fair value gap above here. Again, that doesn't have to happen. This could just sink lower, 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 and always go lower. It's okay. But I'm watching this right now. Because right now we have this. And this is way up there. Right, let's just put it right there. Because every time I do something like that, it always ends up moving. It looks really weird on my chart. So. Again, this trade was there, but wouldn't have offered 50. So 50 is right there. So that's where 50 is. Wouldn't offered it. I like how we took out this sell side. I want to see how we act and respond right here. And are we able to now start to, let's move this a little bit lower so it's out of the way. Doesn't look like that's out of the way yet. But are we able to trade higher, or are we just going to just keep trading softer? That's fine, because I can wait for a setup that makes a little bit more sense to me. ES is looking like it's starting to trade a little bit softer, so we may actually get that. We may get that. Let's put this above, since it looks like it wants to be a little bit heavier. Let's put it above. It's perfect. Okay, cool. Dow again is enjoying, I guess, its freedom to do whatever it wants. So yeah, just watching that. Again, this looks choppy and kind of messy. Not anything I want to be in anyways. Let's see what's kind of like really below us actually. Yeah, okay, so we're looking at this wick. Also this daily volume imbalance is there. It's a potential for us to reach down into that. So what I am looking at is how do we respond if we can create it, this fair value gap here. 5-minute chart. We're on a very, very deep discount. The macro has just started. Let's see what we get here. Sorry, I texted my dad and I was just kind of really confused. Didn't really make any sense. So yeah, it looks like we will be trading a lot softer. We ran through this. Our breaker block is of no importance. We ran through that. So we do have this gap, but again, I want to see specific things happen. ES looks like it wants to trade lower. This looks like we're just going to scream softer. I mean, this entry did offer obviously more than 50, but I wouldn't have taken it. This one, maybe, but I would have liked to see, if this would have, again, like I said the other day, how if it would have overlapped, been more likely and willing to take it. This is going to reach down to the point at which we thought. So now it's hitting the daily inverse fair value gap. So that's where it's at now. It looks like we might have gotten, 3 just large range days down. So obviously that was not a stop run. This gap got ran through, so this would be an inverse fair value gap. Right now, I'm just gonna be patient. I'm probably gonna wait until, I'll probably keep here until maybe 10:30, see if we can see something set up or form. If not, I'm not worried about that. We'll see. Again, I want to see things overlap. I'm not just gonna take a fair value gap just to take a fair value gap, right? I want to see things overlapping in specific areas, kind of what I talked about, and then that's when I'm willing to take a trade. But until then, like, I don't like how this fell short. Now, if this would have gone up there and created SMT, I would have felt more confident taking this trade. But because it just didn't do it, we didn't take any external range. It was all internal, so I don't like those trades. Those are not my favorite trades to take at all. So we have what? It's about 6 minutes left. So I need to see some type of overlapping price action. We know we hit a daily inverse fair value gap. We know we hit this wick. I just want to see where. So it's a little bit below consequent encroachment of this wick. So we know that in terms. So we may see a little bit of a bounce. I will look for a potential retracement, but we'll kind of play that at ear. Let's see what we're gonna get. Yep, so we have, why does this look different on this chart? Yeah, so right, no SMT here. Obviously that's gone. Notice we had SMT there as well. And here, I just didn't believe in it because we didn't take any external. So I was not willing to take that trade. So it is what it is, you know what I mean? Again, for me to take a trade, especially all the way down here, there needs to be some type of overlapping with PD arrays on a 5-minute chart. I'm not just going to start taking, oh, it's a fair value gap, 1 minute, sell it. Yeah, I used to do that a lot. And I used to get cranked every time. So I don't do that no more. Then it needs to make sense for why I'm taking it there. Again, we'd see, right? We have a potential fair value gap there, or do we just close it, right? Just patience, just waiting for things to set up. If it don't set up, they just don't set up, and that's also amazing and fine, because if they don't set up, then there's really nothing to do. Really nothing to do. Now, I like this. I ain't gonna hold you. I like how we come down here and we've kind of ran through this, especially if we can run through this gap since it's already there. Let's put it on. A fair value gap. This is a 5-minute. Five-minute FJ. So that's what that is. Again, so this is a whole different scenario. The fair value gap is up here. This is in the lower portion. Now, if I was expecting it to be left open, then yeah, you would say, okay, I expect this to hold price. If I'm actually looking for a trade setup, I actually wanted to trade into there, right? So there's a difference in understand like what you're exactly looking for, right? I would be looking for it to trade in here if I was looking for a if I was looking for it to trade softer, and would expect this order block to hold. The thing is, I don't necessarily think that that's the case here. I don't. I think we're gonna still come up and attack this. I could be wrong, but that's my thought process here right now. Just want to get that out of the way. So especially if we can run through that 5-minute fair value gap, close above it, that's love. I would like to see that, because then that lets me know like all this trend line liquidity would get hit and we'd be searching and looking for up there. But that may not happen. May not happen. 2 minutes until it's 10 o'clock. May not happen. I could be completely wrong. This could be left open and this order block and then 50 handles. But it could be that. I don't think that, but it don't matter what I think. It'll do regardless. It'll do whatever it's gonna do regardless. Oh, this needs to be up here. People come. mean, it's a nice reaction, don't get me wrong, but I was not expecting that. So I want to see us I want to see us attack up here. That's what I want to see. And I could be selling myself short by, no pun intended, but by not looking at this correctly and be like, okay, you can do it here, and then okay, this happened here, so you can sell it here, because I'm not doing that. But for some reason it just looks too clean for me up there, and we just took out sell side. But it could be because we're in a sell model and we're only looking for sells, so it could be that. So right now, but I'm not too sure right now that that's the case, so I don't want to sell that idea if I'm not sure. Again, I'm completely fine with not taking a trade today. So we closed below on NQ. We did not necessarily close. No, we didn't close below on ES, but now it looks like we will. So now let's see what we can get with the program here. So if we can continue in ES, this is what I see. Continue in ES and create a gap. Well, as long as we don't just keep running. Create a gap here. And why is that? Oh, sorry. And create a fair value gap here. If we can continue that, I will then have, let's look how far away we are first before I say something like that. So it's at 24, 1, 24. Let's put that on there. 24, 1, 24. 24, 1, 24. As long as we don't just run down there right away. Put it right there pretty much. So with this, if this is possible, I will take this trade here. Oh, that's the wrong one. Thank you. Sell limit. That's way too much. Probably put on 4. Yep. So this is what I would be willing to do. So that would be my trade setup. If it can trade that far, that's what I would be looking for. And that's it. So that would be the trade for today. Again, I could get, you know, it's going to do whatever it's going to do at this point, but that's what I'd be looking for. I believe that that would now be a breakaway gap. It's a 5-minute order block there. So we'll see what we get here. This is a gap. A 5-minute order block. Down here is the inside of the wick. So that's what I'm believing that we will see. And that's what I'm going to take. See if we can get a response there. This is a little bit more than 50 handles. Let me make sure I actually have that, because that's a lot more than 50 handles. I can tell you that. It's way more. 50 handles is right there. We're going to put it right there. We don't need to go more. That's fine right there. Way more than 50 handles. So that's the trade setup. We'll see if we can get that to happen, to occur. I want to see continual movement. Don't want to keep seeing it pop back up. Again, that's not what we want to see, but it's going to do what it's going to do anyways. This is our trade setup. No fear, just allowing it to do what it's going to do, you know. Can't do anything else other than that, right? Obviously, we'd love to see it trade lower, but it can do whatever. I think we should see it happen, but you never know, right? Again, getting below that low, we'd like to see a quick burst of price moving lower. And that would pretty much be it. So we don't want to see it like start to slowly go lower. I want to see it just run quickly. I like that the bodies weren't able to close here. If we can shoot below here. Obviously, this is a target. I only need 50. I don't need much more than that. I'm okay with not getting all of that. Now, you know, the 5 minute, oh, it just opened a new 5 minute chart, 5 minute candle. I would like to see this hold price. Doesn't mean it's going to, doesn't mean it has to, but that's what I'd like to see. I mean, we were 12 handles shy, but that's what I would like to see. And let's trade lower and start trading a little bit deeper into this gap, which I was telling you about. Oh, I think it hit. Oh, no, it didn't. But again, we're looking for this down there to get hit. Looks like we're going to come close. At this point, I will move my stop there, lock in the pizza. Yeah, and so that's pretty much the trade. I'm going to put my stop there at the top of that. I don't think it should come back up there. If it does, then I guess it does. But that's what we're looking for. I mean, we fell a little bit short. I think we could pop down below. If we get that, that'd be nice. But if not, it's still fine. Hey, the pizza. Yeah, Remy. Have to lock in the pizza. That's fine. $100 covers the pizza. I mean, if it doesn't hit, I mean, that's not going to be fun, but it is what it is, right? We fell so close, but I mean, there's nothing else that we can't do about that, right? Can't argue about it. You know, it could come up and want to create this again. It could stop us out. You know, it is what it is at that point. You know, but we'll let it play out. Well, so fortunately, that's what it is. I think I may have moved my stop too soon, which is fine. But yeah, I think it'll go back down there one more time. But unfortunately, it is what it is. That's the trade that we have for today. I mean, we fell a little short. I think I was just too aggressive on my stop loss because I think it's going to go down there now. It is what it is. We were able to lock in. Yeah, see, I think I just moved my stop loss too early. See, moving it right there, that's a lesson for today. Moving it right there would have been fine, and it's going to hit below that. That's fine. But just looking at this now, so at 987. Yeah, so close. Just fell literally a couple points away, and that happens sometimes in trading. It is what it is. I mean, getting a better entry, but I mean, I'm not upset. It is what it is. I do want to see if it actually can come below this low. I think it can. It may not. It may not give that to us at all, but locked into pizza, so we can go on a pizza dinner date. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. It is what it is, you know. But I do want to kind of see if we can hit that before 10:30. I think we can. I think my stop loss should have been here at entry, and I don't think I would have had a problem. We'll see. A steak date. Yeah, can definitely do that. Yeah, because the S&P looks heavy, so I do think it's going to trade down there. So again, user error, right? User error, user mistake. It's fine. That's what you call it. User error. Now we'd be expecting this. Oops, I did that again. The thing is, like, it is taking a lot of time. I would have expected it already to kind of move by now. Again, trading below the low. That's what I would have expected. Like it to do this and come back up, and it ran the rejection block, which is what I was expecting it not to do, but it is what it is. Just like how it's kind of holding down here, I don't like that. No, not necessarily for me indicating that it really wants to expand lower, but I'm believing that we can trade down here, but we may not. Go on a stake date, yeah. But not gonna lie, with right now, what's happening right now, I'm very happy with my decision to where I move my stop loss. You do have a 5-minute fair value gap that's being created right here, and my stop loss would have been pretty much right there. And so again, would have been stopped off, you know, tagged out there for break even. I'm not gonna get back in the trade, even though I believe that okay, it overlaps now. And so this 1-minute fair value gap, I would expect it to then trade lower. I don't need to get back in. I don't need to prove anything. I'm fine with what happened. You know, obviously would love to have gotten out down here before it turned around, but you know, not everything happens the way that you want it to. So, be a nice entry. Ended up closing with not that many handles, but overall, it's fine. But yeah, I would expect this to now take this out, you know, because of, let's take this off, because of how we had this 5-minute fair value gap too. This wick would expect it to hold. It consolidated down here, and then, you know, should take out this low. So maybe should I have held my stop loss above here where it was and let it be? Yeah, probably, but that's not what I did on this trade. So missed out, but didn't really. Just again, learning experience to get better at doing this. So I'll get off in about, like, I'll say 10:15, because, you know, or if this hits first, whatever, 10:15 or whatever, if this hits, that's pretty much what I'll be looking for. Again, look how this wick, this, you know, good entry. If it was up higher, a little bit higher, then it would have hit 50, but who cares? You know, fell. How close were we? I feel like we were very close. I think I had actually 51. So I think it did hit 50, but I don't know. I don't think it would have tagged this out anyways. This low was 21,167.75. Nah, it wouldn't have tagged this out. Yeah, so we would still be in this trade and it just consolidating. Not a good, not high probability, but we have 3 minutes, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, it would have been my first yeah, that trade would have hit. It would have been my first, like, I don't know what, 1K month or something like that. I don't know. Don't matter. It don't matter. Come on, you can do it. Yeah, see, the way that it's acting right now, I don't like that much. Like, I'd have already expected it to just boom, blow right through this. That's what I expected the first time. Patience, 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 though. There we go. I think it's gonna happen pretty soon. Probably the next candle, as long as this one doesn't, like, keep rising back up. The next candle may do it. I think the next candle, this one or the next one, should punch down below it. And even though we didn't get it, we got it in spirit. There we go. It was with us in spirit. So this is what we were targeting. Now it finally gave it to us. But it's fine. There we go. So obviously we went from a bullish bias to a bearish bias, and this is where the entry was. Unfortunately got stopped out a little bit prematurely, and then yeah, I moved my stop down. Should have probably left it up, knowing that we had a potential for a 5-minute fair value gap to be created and then be respected, but that's not what we did. And we were targeting this 21. I'll show. We were targeting pretty much this mid-level right there. That's what we're targeting, and that may not be this exact level, but that's kind of what we're looking for. So I will, you know, catch you guys tomorrow. I'm most likely not going to stream. I mean, sorry, not stream. Not going to trade the last couple days. I don't really care that much to be streaming. Well, I keep saying streaming. I don't care that much to be taking a trade the next couple of days, because we're kind of getting towards the end of the week, and this was a good trade. Just got out prematurely, and yesterday was a great trade as well. So I'm going to kind of be done. But yeah, thank you for everyone that stayed on and watched. I will be on tomorrow. I hope you guys have a blessed day, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.